Hey everyone and welcome back to Crystalline. The first episode made me fall in love with this series and I couldn't wait to get back to recording more of it. There's going to be a slight change though. I put my camera in the top right, and during that one CG where Liana was on the ground, it kind of covered the top of her head. So I'm going to be moving it either to the top left or the one of the bottoms, depending on how it works. So yeah, just keep an eye out for some changes like that. But let's just hop right back into where we were. If I remember correctly, knocking at the door. A knock at my door jolts me awake. I sit up straight in bed and barely notice a tiny yelp as the pongo tumbles to the floor. Hello? The knocking stops.
It's Liana. Are you about ready?
I rub my eyes and blink at the feeble rays of light outside. What time is it?
It's past dawn. We need to get a move on if we want to make a good time.
Dawn? There's no good reason anyone should be awake at this hour. I attempt to lay back down in my bed when knocking starts again. Alright, I'll be there in a minute. The noise stops, I yawn and stretch, then notice the pongo on the floor. What are you doing on the floor, buddy? Aren't you sleeping on the bed? The pongo wiggles and shoots me an accusatory look. I love the pongo. I glance at the slight indentation on my pillow and back at the blue mass on the floor. Sorry, I didn't mean to knock you off. He looks cautiously at me, then hops onto the bed and up onto my head. He nips at my hair, then jiggles. I guess that means he's forgiven me. I push myself to my feet and begin getting dressed. Once I've grabbed all of my things, I push open the door and nearly collide with Liana. Whoa!
Are you ready to go?
Yeah. What? Liana nods and leads the way out of the inn. I follow her downtown as we head north. It's a lot quieter than when we first arrived at the town. The town gradually begins to wake up. We don't run into too many people on the street, although the shops aren't open yet. I can see the shopkeepers busy prepping for the day. Right before we reach the edge of town, a guard stops us.
There's been heightened bandit activity reported on these roads.
Liana's brow creases.
Are the roads closed?
No, but until we get a handle on the bandit activity, we're advising everyone to stay in town.
We can't stay.
Where are you headed?
We're headed to Illumia.
The guard notices the sigil on Liana's manipulator. My mind was going straight to mana.
You're a mage knight?
She nods. As the guard turns to focus on me, I draw attention to the blade on my hip. He nods gruffly, then moves out of the way.
Just be careful out there.
Thank you.
She motions for me to follow her. Once we're back in the familiar dirt path, I take one last look at Meadow Hill Village before refocusing on the road ahead of me. Our trek along the path is peaceful. The forest gradually awakens with birdsong and the scuttling of woodland animals. Having grown up in the city, the sounds of nature still startle me, and I glance at every rustle of the leaves. Liana, though, seems unfazed. Her eyes routinely survey her surroundings. Suddenly she freezes. I nearly bump into her. What the?
Shh.
I fall silent as she listens. When she speaks, her voice is a whisper.
Did you hear that?
I strain my ears, listening for anything out of place. Then I hear the voice among the trees. Bandits? A strangled scream pierces the air, scaring the flock of birds into flight.
Someone might be in danger.
Her previous caution abandoned, Liana sprints towards the sound, and I follow at her heels. We both take cover as the trees open up, revealing a man in a trench coat surrounded by 5 bandits. One more bandit lies motionless on the ground. Upon seeing the fallen comrade, the bandits all unsheath their weapons. 3 of them hold longswords and 2 of them point guns. The trench-coated man doesn't stir. His dark hair falls over his eyes, and I can't see his face.
You won't get away from us this time. Take him out.
The man pushes open his coat and draws 2 guns as the bandits converge. Liana sets her jaw.
Stay here.
As soon as the words fall from her lips, she races out of the trees. Her hair whips behind her and white coattail billow a graceful arc. She moves faster than any human as air pushes her forward instead of dragging her down. Her gauntlet hand clenches a blue sphere, and a blue sphere glows. When it disappears, she smashes her fist into the nearest bandit. He flies away from her and crashes against a tree before crumpling into a heap.
Mage Knight?
She must be with him.
Or she's after the bounty. Take her out too.
The mysterious man fires a hail of purple blasts and the bandit catching one of them in the chest. Liana deflects the sword from another bandit with her own blade. I just can't sit here and do nothing. I have to help. Ignoring Liana's command, I unsheath my sword and charge into battle. Do we actually get to fight? Early access version minigame will be available in future builds. I feel gypped off. I win. Liana breathes heavily as she surveys the bandits around her. She glances at me as the stranger who's still standing.
Anyone hurt?
I do a gentle pat down on myself and wince at my bruises. Nothing major. Liana nods then fidgets with her manipulator. The man stays silent as he inspects his gun. Now that I have a better look at him, I realize that although his fierce scowl makes him seem tough, he doesn't look that much older than me. His hair has a habit of falling around his eyes, but he pushes it back, and I notice a long scar across one eye. Once satisfied, he tucks his gun back into his belt and gets to his feet. Just in case if I want a thumbnail. He nods at us.
Thanks.
Zach Spade. Edgy McEdgerson here. He turns away. Then he turns away.
Wait!
He pauses.
Where are you headed?
Why?
There might be more bandits around. We should team up if we're going in the same direction. Safety in numbers.
He studies us in stony silence. Then his gaze flicks to her manipulator and relaxes slightly.
Where are you going?
We're headed to Illumia.
Me too.
Liana nods.
You're from the Mage Guild?
Yes, I'm Liana.
I'm Phoenix.
Zach.
Hi.
Boy.
That's Pongo. All of us glance at the little blue Pongo who seemingly popped out of nowhere. And this is our little friend.
I see.
The Pongo blinks at Zach, who stares him down. The Pongo bounces uncertainly. Zach unblinking stare never wavers, so the Pongo scoots behind my leg for safety.
Now that introductions are over, let's get moving.
Oh, right down to business. Zach waits for us to collect our things, and once we're all set, we head back into the road. Liana and I head the way the Pongo keeps pace with us, while Zach hangs a few steps behind us. Let's find out about those guns. So, what type of gun is Zach carrying?
You mean his discharger?
What's a discharger? I hear a sound behind us. Zach raises an eyebrow and I turn to look at him.
Did you hit your head or something?
Liana looks a little uncomfortable.
He's not exactly from around here.
Zach crosses his arms.
I see.
There's a pause. So, discharger.
It's a weapon that uses crystal spheres to power it.
So, it is a gun.
Maybe?
The spheres are the bullets. Well, it's kind of the magazine in some sense because it uses to fire bullets. Or in this case, bolts of energy. Liana looks uncertain. Although it's made sense in my head, I can see that she might be confused. Never mind, I got it. Thanks.
Sure.
She smiles. I feel Zach's gaze on me, but his expression is hard to read. Liana, I saw you during that fight. How are you able to move so fast?
Oh, I cast wind magic to manipulate my movements.
Oh, I should ask her to do an energy tornado back then. Oh, so like putting on a speed buff.
They're small adjustments, like shifting the draft to move me forward, or using a breeze to help lift me during jumps.
Damn, that sounds awesome. She grins.
The next time you're lagging behind, I'll use my wind to give you a little boost.
That would be amazing. I can already imagine myself running like the wind. Liana seems pleased with my reaction. Why not just ask everything? How did Zach know you were in the Mage Guild?
He saw my emblem.
She lifts up her arm and points to the sigil on her manipulator. What exactly does the Mage Guild do?
We investigate any type of magical anomaly. The Mage Guild in Havengard is actually headquartered in Illumia.
Sort of like a police force. Liana furrows her brow.
Police?
Like how detectives go out into the field to solve mysteries.
A little like that.
It now makes sense as to why both the guard in Meadow Hill Village and Zack relaxed after seeing Liana's emblem. Well, it looks like that the guard was telling the truth. There's definitely are bandits on the road.
Yeah.
There's something in her voice which makes me think she doesn't completely agree. What is it?
It's just, well, for bandits, they were pretty well equipped.
More like bounty hunters. She stares hard at Zack, but he doesn't react. What does that mean? Are they not bandits? Liana continues to look at Zack.
I'm not sure.
They were bandits.
She looks sharply at Zack, obviously caught off guard.
Sure.
That didn't sound too convincing. The subject drops, but I still feel a little uneasy. If those guys weren't bandits, then who were they? Why were they attacking Zack? The question circles my mind as the conversation lulls to a silence. Liana leads the way through what, though she seems to have something on her mind. Zack trails from behind. He remains on a heightened alert. My eyes are bad tonight. That's what I get for not sleeping at all. We traveled together for quite some time with no further interruptions. I can feel my legs start to burn from all the walking. Liana squints at the sky.
We should make camp before it gets dark.
Zack nods. You know, okay, I gotta say, I do love this visual novel so far. I love this type of genre. I forget the exact name in Japanese because, but I know I love this type of genre as it is. But these kind of things, like these, would work. Zack nods. If the characters weren't animated, you would need that. But the characters are animated, so you don't really need that there. Just my opinion.
There's a good spot up ahead which hides us from view. It'll still give us visibility on any intruders, though.
Sounds good. Zack leads the way. Soon we reach the clearing. The three of us get to work setting up camp. I roll out my bedroll near the campfire and notice that how thinly it's spread on the ground. Can this thing really be comfortable? I guess there's one way to find out. I lie down on the bedroll and place my hands behind my head. It isn't as bad as I thought. A yawn escapes my lips. I could definitely fall asleep here. Oh, that's beautiful. Look how beautiful that is. My gaze lingers on the night sky above. The moon hangs in the inky sky, dotted with so many pinpricks of silver light. The sparkles vividly as if trying to chase away the dark. I breathe out, a breath in wonder. I never knew that the stars could shine so brightly. I try to pick out a few constellations, but the star patterns above are unfamiliar.
What are you looking at?
I quickly sit up and discern Liana's voice. She holds 2 steaming bowls in her hand. I accept one of the bowls with a smile and she sits beside me. Just admiring the sky. This place is really beautiful. Back where I live, you don't get to see as many stars.
How come?
Light pollution. Our cities are filled with so much light that it drowns out the stars. Liana gazed thoughtfully at the sky.
Right. It's a little harder to see the stars in town than it is out here.
I shake my head. That's not the same. Some nights I don't even see stars at all. Her eyes widen in surprise, then she places her chin in her hand.
A night sky without stars.
Yeah, kind of depressing now that you hear it out loud. Like, I live in a city, not a big city like New York City, but I live in a city and sometimes you get to see so many stars, but sometimes you don't. So, yeah, she looks at me.
What's your world like?
This just got dark. Because that, on all honesty, that's what I would say. But you know what? No, because it's different. But it is more or less the same from here. It's kind of like here, but kind of different. She stares at me, waiting for me to elaborate. We don't use crystals or have magic, and we definitely don't have pongos. I glance at the pongo snoozing beside me, and Liana smiles as his soft snores at his. But we do have forests and towns. We speak languages and have our own versions of academies and shops and guilds. We also have weapons and martial arts.
Like Kendo.
Yep.
That sounds like it'd be an interesting place to visit. I wonder what it's like to live in a world with no crystals.
She tilts her head back and returns her gaze to the sky. Underneath the moonlight, her pale skin seems to glow amidst the darkness. Her face softens as she smiles.
You're right. The stars really are beautiful.
We fall into a comfortable silence as we enjoy the tranquility of the night. After we finish eating and cleaning up, Zach approaches us.
It's getting late.
Okay, no, this definitely a perfect background. That night sky is gorgeous. Liana nods.
I'll take first watch so you can rest.
All right. I'll take second watch.
I guess that just leaves me with third. Zach stares blinking at me while Liana coughs nervously.
That's okay. We had an early start, and I'm sure you're tired. We should rest up and sleep through the night.
Do you guys not trust me? It's almost like you guys don't trust me. Although I try to keep my tone light and joking, Liana looks guilty.
No, that's not. I mean, it's not that we don't trust.
Yes.
Straight to the point. I gotta respect this edgy McEdgerson edgelord guy. She looks sharply at Zach. His arms are crossed, but his expression doesn't change. Seriously? Zach nods towards Liana.
She's part of the Mage Guild, so I know she won't pull any tricks. I don't know anything about you.
I'm sorry.
As the fire in my mind abates, I realize Zach has a point. I thought realize was with a Z. I never spelled it with an S. Have I been spelling it wrong all this time? Now that is a realization. Zach has a point. I've given him no reason to trust me. If we were in his shoes, I'd be just as cautious. I nod. Alright, I suppose that's fair.
I better get to sleep then. Good night.
Good night. Zach nods. Liana flashes at me one last time before crawling into her bedroll. She lies down. Zach positions himself against a tree and takes a seat. Get to know Zach! If we're going to be traveling together, I should make an effort to get to know what kind of person he is. I walk over to Zach. Hey. Mind if I sit? He gestures for me to join him, so I do. Obviously, I'll have to lead the conversation. So, how's that weather? Zach stares at me. Alright, let's switch gears. Are you a cat or dog person?
Is this going anywhere?
I sigh. I'm trying to build up some trust here, but you've got to meet me halfway. Zach looks away. Great. I guess he doesn't want to talk.
Dog.
What?
I prefer canines.
Oh, cool. The silence creeps in again. So we're all going to Illumia.
Yep.
What brings you there?
I'm meeting someone.
A friend?
Someone from work.
What do you do?
I'm a mercenary.
That's badass. Acceptable murder. I gotta click it. That's too fucking funny. So you kill people for a living. Zach crosses his arms and stands.
It's getting late. You should go to sleep.
Oh. Whoops. Looks like I might have hit a nerve. I get to my feet as well. Good night. He nods. I lie down in my bedroll and scooch around until I get comfortable. I try closing my eyes to sleep, but something still doesn't feel right. Oh yeah, I need a pillow. Sitting up, I look around for anything that I can use. My gaze falls upon the Pongo, who now rests beside Liana. Pongo pillow! This is happening. Psst, Pongo. The Pongo blinks open, blurry eyes, but perks up when it notices me. Come here. would do the same thing. He happily bounces over. When it comes to within reach, I make a grab for him and plunk him into my bedroll. He squeaks and protests as I lay my head on him. Like a slippery eel, he wiggles himself free and bounds back to Liana's side. No, Pongo! He glares suspiciously at me. I'm fucking up. He turns back to me and cuddles against Liana. I sigh. Well, I guess I have no choice but to make do with pillowless. Lying back down on the bedroll, I close my eyes and eventually drift to sleep. That music always plays when we go to sleep. I feel like I got kind of messed up. I should have called him badass. A dull throbbing in my back pulls me awake. I hadn't fully appreciated the magic of a mattress until now. A yawn escapes as I stretch widely. Aside from the achiness, I actually feel well rested. I sit up and glance around. Zach leans against a tree with his head down. His hair covers his eyes. I can't tell if they're open or closed. Regardless, in his hand rests the handles of a discharger. Creepy. Looking around again, I fail to spot Liana. Where did she go? I think I hear her crying in the distance. Is that her? I should go investigate. Crossing over the hill, I see Liana practicing in an open field. She grips her blade in a fighting stance, her face stern with concentration. She swings her blade in a high arc, ending in graceful spin. Judging by how fluid and accurate her movement is, it's clear she's dedicated many years to perfecting her craft. Her hair whips around her as she turns, but never seems to blow in her face. Even with heavy armor, her movements are still nimble, as if she's wearing no armor at all. I wonder if it's all it has to do with her wind magic. When she noticed me, she lowers her sword.
Oh, sorry. Did I wake you? I moved out here so I wouldn't disturb you.
No, I was already up. I didn't see where I came, so I came looking.
Gotcha.
I glance down at my feet and spot the beaming Pongo. Liana giggles.
Looks like you guys are best friends already.
I tried to use him as a pillow last night. Of course. The best friends? Best friends, isn't that right? Pongo nods excitedly. I tried to use him for a pillow. It's pretty early. Do you always begin your mornings with a warm-up? Liana nods.
It helps me wake up and prepare for the day ahead. Also, it's become a part of my routine, so it just doesn't feel right when I don't do it.
I know what you mean. I can't really go through my morning routine without Earth here. I can't really go through my morning routine from Earth here on Terra, and it feels a bit strange.
Right.
Liana looks down. The awkwardness creeps into the silence. She probably took that in a negative way, which it wasn't my intention. That's okay though. I can always make a new routine.
New routine?
I unsheath my blade and grip it. The morning practice you do seems to be a good place to start. She grins.
Considering how well you handled yourself yesterday, I'm curious to see what's the extent of your skill set.
I smirk. Only one way to find out. So, what's the lesson today, Senpai?
Sand pie?
I shake my head. Never mind. She blinks, then refocuses, and okay, wait. This kid's from New York. Why would he call her senpai unless he's a weeb? And the creators of this game are from Canada. So wouldn't it be senpai A? She blinks and refocuses and matches my fighting stance by raising her sword.
Since you already have some experience with the blade, sparring will be the best way to gauge your skills.
I'm ready. I tighten the grip on my blade. Ready when you are.
Here I come!
Liana dashes towards me. Her movements seem slower than what they were during the bandit fight. It seems like she isn't using her wind magic. Early access version minigame will be available in future builds. I mean, because of this, it should do... This is pissing me off. Like, I understand the final chapter of this game was just released last month. But this minigame stuff should be kind of important to the game if you want it there. Because I will always become a god. Or maybe we should do poorly to make her more interested in us. I'm going to do well. I somehow manage to keep pace with her. Every time I think I'm about to... Okay, the reason why... Okay, I'll explain my reasoning for this before. in all those Isekai animes, I think they're called, where they're transported to a parallel world, in most cases they have some kind of divine godlike power. There's been a few exceptions to that with some anime. I mean, take Re:Zero, for example. All Subaru can do is just come back from the dead. But in other ones I've seen, the main character, the protagonist, always has some kind of special skill, some kind of special power. I'm going to be good at everything because this game's taken away my ability to have fun. It is a visual novel, so it's fitting. Every time I think I'm about to get the upper hand, she instantly increases until we equally match again. Even so, I could feel her holding back. Without using magic, mage knights are still a formidable opponent with a sword, especially if they're anything like Liana. We go back and forth a few more swings until Liana strikes me from above. I hurriedly block with my sword, but I lose my balance in a hurry, and I topple to the ground, landing on my back. Oof. I tried. Liana kneels down beside me.
Your fundamentals are solid. If you keep practicing, I'm sure you'll be a formidable warrior in no time.
I can't wait to see what the minigames are going to be. I will replay through this, just to see the minigames. That's pretty high praise when it's coming from you. She smiles and blushes. Liana extends a hand and helps me back to my feet.
It would be better if I could watch you spar with someone else. That way, I can see your movement from different angles and give you better feedback.
Unless the Pongo can use his sword, the only other option is Zack. I look around and spot Zack leaning against a tree closer to our sparring location. He watches us with arms crossed. Wait, how long has he been there? Liana rushes over to him.
Zack! Would you be willing to duel with him?
She points to me.
I'd like to get a better look at his technique.
He merely stares at her.
Oh, right. You need a blade.
Liana hands her blade to Zack. He takes it from her and inspects
What are
it.
the rules of the duel?
Standard spar. Be the first one to knock your opponent to the ground.
Zack nods and heads towards the field. I'm fucked. As Liana returns to me, we share a glance. That was surprisingly easy. I guess it's not in a mercenary's nature to back down from a fight, even if it's a fake one.
Are you two ready?
I step a decent distance away from Zack and ready my blade. Yep. Zack continues to stand there. I look at Liana again, and she just shrugs. He nods.
Okay, begin!
I rush forward. Did he shoot me? And suddenly I'm on the ground, staring up at the sky, and arcing pain in my chest as wind knocked out of me. I groan.
Strange. I thought he'd last at least 2 shots.
He shot me!
Zack!
What?
Why did you use your discharger?
Why not?
Liana steps
The
forward.
whole point was to have a sword match with him.
You didn't list that as a rule.
Her frustration is evident in her voice.
Why else would I give you my sword?
Why did you give me your sword?
For you to use!
She's cute when she's angry. She snatches her blade back from Zack and heads over to me.
Are you hurt?
My pride. So, this is what it feels like to be emasculated twice. I couldn't resist. It was too funny. My pride. Now, that's the name of the episode right there. My pride. My gaze drifts past Liana to the blue sky behind her. At least the view is nice. Liana helps me up again.
The one and only lesson you need to know when fighting. Do whatever it takes to win.
He ain't wrong. As soon as he's done speaking, Zack turns around and heads back to the campsite. Liana huffs.
Mercenaries can be so annoying sometimes.
Mercenaries take all sorts of jobs, including some really unsavory types. That probably influences their battle ethics and codes for survival to be more brutal than others. Liana ponders my words.
That's true.
What the hell? Oh. We pack up our things and clean up the campsite. We continue our journey. As we talk, we slip into a comfortable silence. Zack lingers behind Liana while lingers behind Liana and I while the Pongo returns to its usual spot on my head. After a few hours, it doesn't feel like we're getting any closer. So, how long until we reach Illumia?
We'll need to stop at Raven Pass to restock and spend the night. But if we continue to make good time, we'll reach Illumia by midday tomorrow.
One more day of walking. If only I had brought my BitFit. I would have my daily steps done for a lifetime. I nod and fall back into silence, and we fall back into silence. By mid-afternoon, we arrive at the gates of a settlement even smaller than Middle Hill Village. Oh, that's so pretty. The town consists of an inn and a few shops, the bare essentials. This looks like a better village than the other one. It's like well put together. How can you say this is the bare essentials? This looks like a very nice village. They probably only ever see travelers like us, people passing through their way to Illumia.
Okay, we should stock up on supplies.
I'll be making a stop at the weaponsmith.
Zack pats the two holstered discharges at his side. Now that I think about it, I only saw amused wonder in the bandit ambush. The other must have been already damaged.
I'll check out the shop since my weapons are okay on repairs.
I'll go with you. Liana smiles. Zack nods.
See you soon, then.
He turns down another path.
Let's go.
Liana smiles back at me as she leads the way to the shops. Wait up! We find the general store with ease since the marketplace itself is quite small. In fact, I'm surprised by how busy the store is. I guess if you're the only general store around, business is bound to be good. As Liana picks out a couple items, I look around the shop. I notice people of all backgrounds wearing clothes ranging from the leather I'd seen in Meadow Hill to intricately elaborated embroidered robes. They really do get all types traveling through here. Once Liana is finished, I follow her to the counter and pay for our items.
Will that be all for today?
Liana nods.
Your total comes to 34 coins.
Liana eyes widen.
34 coins for these? It should be at most 30.
The shopkeeper frowns apologetically. He doesn't seem too happy about the price either.
I'm sorry, miss. The goods themselves are only 20 coins. The rest of the cost is the 70% tax.
Eesh. I've noticed something funny. When I click off screen, obviously it pauses, but when I click back on screen, everything jiggles. I'm going to hell. Now, if we stay, I'm going to speak up. I hope you at least get free universal health insurance and education with those taxes. Both Liana and the shopkeeper look at me in confusion. Liana furrows her brow.
I don't remember the tax being so high in the past.
The mayor only recently increased the tax.
Has no one asked why? It doesn't seem fair.
The man nods.
We did in the beginning, but then the mayor hired enforcers of the new law.
There's something shady going on here. There's some embezzlement going on. Liana frowns, but doesn't say anything more. The shopkeeper continues to look apologetic as he gestures at her items.
I'm really sorry about this, miss, but I don't have any other choice.
I understand. It's not your fault.
She hands over the coins.
Thank you for understanding. Safe travels.
As we head out, Liana seems quieter than usual. You okay?
Something about this just doesn't seem right. New tax rules and new guards to enforce them? I came through here only a few days ago on my way to Meadow Hill, and the tax hadn't been changed then. It all seems too sudden.
Let's investigate. We should find out what's going on here. Liana blinks.
Really?
I nod. We can't just leave it alone if something foul is at play here. Liana smiles.
You're right. Anyway, let's go meet up with Zack.
The game glitches sometimes, and I don't like that. I nod. It feels very unstable sometimes. I get it's early access, even though it's finished, but it doesn't have the minigames. We make our way to the lane of Armory and Smith. To the lane of Armory and Smiths and peek through a few window shops before we spot Zack. A guard looms over him. Uh-oh, this doesn't look promising. Liana frowns as we enter the shop.
This doesn't concern you. Stay out of it.
It became my concern when you threatened him in front of me.
Threatened? All I told him was what may happen to his store if he doesn't pay up for these protective services.
Extortion.
Leave. Now.
The guard laughs.
What makes you think I'd listen to you?
Zack glares at the guard as he flips open his coat and reveals his discharger. He grips the second discharger on the table. The color drains from the guard's face.
2 dischargers with purple spheres and a black trench coat. It can't be.
Zack shifts slightly, increasing the ferocity in his eyes. The guard tries to hide his fear with a false bravado. He turns towards the shopkeeper.
You're lucky your friend was here today. He won't always be here, though.
Ooh, something's going on here. After imparting the one last subtle threat, the guard hurries out of the shop, brushing past Liana and I. Zack relaxes and the shopkeeper sighs in relief.
Thank you.
That have to do with this new tax you mentioned?
The shopkeeper nods.
The taxes just keep growing. I've tried to keep my prices as low as possible for the customers, but then our taxes grow and, well, you saw what happens next.
His fingers tremble as he takes back the discharger. I think he's still shaken up by what
I'm
happened.
sorry. I still need a few more minutes to finish up the repairs. It would have been done by now if we hadn't been interrupted.
Zack nods. The weaponsmith gives him a graceful smile as he returns to his workroom. Tax issues again.
It looks like it's affecting all of the stores. And it's only going to get worse.
I'm not going to let it escalate.
Liana and I glance at Zack in
You
surprise.
head to the inn. I have something to take care of first.
What are you planning to do?
I'm going to pay a visit to the mayor.
A good Samaritan mercenary. We'll help. We're coming too.
Something here is just not right. We can't sit by and do nothing.
The shopkeeper returns and places Zack's discharger on the counter.
All fixed.
Thanks. Here.
Zack offers coins to the vendor, who shakes his head.
Please, don't worry about it. You've already done me a huge favor by helping me with the guard.
Zack holsters his discharger and places the coins on the counter anyway.
I insist.
The shopkeeper looks conflicted, then sighs and nods gratefully. Zack leads the way out of the shop and through the town. His footsteps are long and full of purpose, which is a change from his quiet, cautious demeanor. I can't help but look at him with a newfound respect. This is the first time I've seen him so determined and driven. Soon we arrive in front of a large, elaborate mansion. It looks very out of place and compared to the modest shops in the rest of the town. And this is where we'll end it for today. Quick save. Menu. Save. This is really just an anime. It's an anime that I can control. And I love it for that fact. Title screen. Yes. Okay, I didn't expect to see this get like some corporate bullshittery going on with some strong-arming the citizens. I like that. Oh, I really like that. Huh. Assuming this is Liana, I just noticed there's a tattoo on her back. Sometimes tattoos can be quite sexy. But that's besides the what the fuck am I doing? Oh, but yes, I can't wait to play this game again. It's going to suck having to wait a week to play it, but other things have to be recorded and things need to go up and stuff, so yeah. What do you all think of this? Do you like it as much as I am? Like, 'cause I'm in love with this game so far. I'm just a little upset the minigames aren't in. Maybe by the time we finish it, they'll be in and we can just jump back to the beginning of the game and do some of those minigames. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, leave a like and share it around. It helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter and subscribe to the channel to become an Ember of the Phoenix. In doing so, you'll never miss when a video goes live, and you'll always be able to see when my videos go live. I stumble over my words sometimes. This is what happens when you don't get sleep at all. Link to my Twitter is on the description below and on the front page of my channel. And with all that said, this has been Black Phoenix. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.